Hey everybody, it's Eddie John Crypto for Grow My Bag TV, and now we're gonna dig into some of these topics. So, Grayscale, I still think is going to be the first to be approved for their Bitcoin spot ETF. I really do. They were first up. They won lawsuits. They've had a long history. It's been years and years and years. I know that there are public questions going out about Franklin and Hashgraph or whatever it is that their name is, Hashdex. Public opinion, that the SEC put out there. But I really do think that it will be Grayscale that goes first, probably followed by BlackRock, Fidelity, 21 shares, and ARK Invest. Just a whole line of big time companies that are looking to have their own Bitcoin spot ETFs. Something else that I'm noticing, which also tells me that we are like ridiculously close. You're starting to have the second wave of Bitcoin spot ETF applications start to happen, right? One of these companies is Swiss asset manager Panda. What is it? Panda Asset. The second wave is what I call the FOMO wave, right? Because they're not there. I mean, technically, it's not even the second wave; it's the third, right? I mean, because Grayscale was first, and then you had everybody else, and then now you have all the FOMO people. So yeah, I guess third wave. So as I look at this, I'm just sitting back and I'm going, yeah, it's going to happen. And some of these smaller asset managers don't want to be left out in that game because it would be something else that the big companies would be able to offer that the little ones can't, and they don't want to miss out on this boat. And they're figuring, well, those companies have already fought the legal fights and have prepared applications that can be used as a template for their own application. So kind of makes sense, if you're a smaller asset manager. Next up, you have FTX. FTX apparently holds shares across 5 different Bitcoin trusts, 5 different Grayscale trusts, and 1 Bitwise trust. The grand total being about $744 million. And I think I reported about this a couple of weeks ago, but now in a bankruptcy filing, they actually got approved. And I'm sitting back and I'm kind of going, you got approved. That doesn't say that they're going to do it now. I wouldn't. I would, because I believe Bitwise is also one of the companies that's one of the firms that's looking for their own Bitcoin spot ETF. I'd wait. I have permission to sell those shares. I'd wait. Remember, if you bought into GBTC, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, if you waited for that and you're holding shares in that, you got in on Bitcoin at a discount. And depending on when you got in at a serious discount. So I would be sitting back and I would be waiting. Because if you wait for the right amount of time and you time it properly, you could go from 744 to 843 million to over $1 billion easily. So I'd be waiting. I'd get the permission, which is what they did. They're locked and loaded, but I'd be waiting right now. I would just chill. Be like, yep, I'm going to wait for them to do it. And then everybody's going to FOMO in, and then everything's going to skyrocket. Thank you very much. That's going to be insane. That will just be nuts, because that means that FTX will have serious liquidity, be able to pay everybody back, and of course, they're going to relaunch. They've already said it. Something that dropped my jaw, though, a major player in the cryptoverse has decided they're out. They're gone. They're done. December 19th, they're done. Who is it? Sofi. Not a small firm. Not a small player. They're out. And they've sent the letter out, and they're basically saying December 19th, option 1 is to transfer all of your assets over to blockchain.com. Yeah, big win for blockchain.com. So your assets would get transferred over to blockchain.com, or most likely there's also an option to just cash out. I'm thinking that the bulk of people are going to, push over to blockchain.com, flip over to their terms of service agreement. Cool. And ride it out. But that's a big change. There are going to be a lot of ripple effects from SoFi getting out of the business. And they're citing, regulatory just headwinds rather. Just it's nuts in the United States to try to do anything that has to do with crypto, right? Not many rules are in place. Basically, no guidance from the SEC and CFTC. So everything is a big guess. Finger in the air. Is the wind blowing in the right direction? Should we do this? Should we do that? I'm thinking it's a big guess. Not easy. Not easy at all. Something else that popped up on my radar, and it's interesting. What popped up on my radar is South Korea is about to launch a pilot program with over 100,000 participants for their CBDC. The reason why it caught my attention is because there was a bit in there that said the United States, the Federal Reserve, put out a questionnaire saying, hey, there's a whole bunch of questions, blah, blah, blah. And it has been suggested on more than one occasion that XRP and XRPL be considered for instant settlements. That's kind of a big deal. Something else that I noticed in that questionnaire was, in the snippet that I saw, was, should there be an offline version, right? Power outages, things like that. And you sit there and go, wow, yeah, that actually makes sense. Yeah, how would you do that? That's kind of big. So yeah, you start to think about each one of those things. I'm just looking at the broader picture, right? When I look at the broader picture, it's what blockchains are being heavily leveraged, what blockchains are being used for TVL, what blockchains are being used for adoption, what are the use cases for all of the blockchains, what is leveraging, how can you do it, what's staking, all that good stuff. I'm looking across the board. I heard somebody make mention of a blockchain and their level of TVL. And I was like, yeah, that's a great level of TVL. But at some point, you're going to make a flip from TVL to adoption. And that means there's going to be a certain amount of usage in addition to a certain amount of TVL. Meaning, if I'm not using my crypto, okay, great. I'm gonna stake it. Why not? It's like having it in a bank. I'm just going to stake it. And then when I need it, I'll pull some out, do whatever it is I'm going to do. When I make more, I'll put back in. That's what I think the life is going to be as we move forward. You'll use crypto as you would fiat, right? You're going to save, you're going to spend. It's that happy in between that we need to find. And that's what I'm looking for. So when I cover news, that's what I'm delivering. Things that will help me get an understanding of what kind of adoption is there, what kind of usage is there, what kind of just applications are out there that can be leveraged, whether it be in the gaming space or whatever. So that's what I'm kind of looking for. Things like, Immutable X being on top of Polygon, doing games and all that stuff. I'm just looking for how it can be used, whether for saving or buying. How can it be used? And the amount of that begins to happen. That's what I'm looking for. There's only but so long that you're going to hodl. You know what I mean? That's really my idea. So then where is it that I can go to actually use my crypto? These are the things that I'm paying attention to. I told you I have a whole hosting platform, Rebel Reach, where we're allowing you to use credit cards, PayPal, and crypto to set up your e-commerce shop. It's there. It's there. People are coming. We're working on a few sites now. One of them is a healthcare company. Just saying. You should think about it. Right? Now, before we get into the numbers, I know I didn't do them yesterday, but before we get into the numbers, I know that there are a lot of people that had asked me, hey, can you look over my portfolio and put it in a video and let me know what you think? I'm more than happy to. Come over to growmybag.tv and drop it over there and I will go through it. Hit me on DM over there and I'll gladly do it because I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun as I get into conversations with these people about, how are you using your crypto? How are you saving your crypto? What are your decisions? What's your risk appetite? All those kinds of things go into how you would manage your portfolio. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not going to give advice on what they should do. I would be telling them what I would do or what I would recommend to my kids do if that were their portfolio. So anyway, hit me up on growmybag.tv. More than happy to have some fun, shoot some videos, and just talk shop with a whole bunch of people about what's going on in the crypto and investment space. And not just crypto, but real estate, stocks, options, bonds, whatever. Let's get into the conversation and in a safe space. All right? You know what we should do now? We should get into the numbers. That's what we should do. So, looking at the numbers, let me see if I can put my ugly face up. I don't think I can. Let's see. Yeah, it'll let me put my ugly face up. Interesting. I mean, I still have my logo over my face, so maybe I'll remove that. And there you go. So now, looking at the numbers, let's refresh this screen because it's been about 15 minutes since I've actually refreshed this screen. And let's see who's still on top. Let's see. Let's take a look at who's on the bottom first. So right here, whoops, no, all the way down to about there. All righty. That's interesting. So as you go up, let's see who we're paying attention to. Nobody. Stacks. I am paying attention to Stacks. Stacks is down 10%. I like Stacks. To me, that is an awesome time to buy. Psy was actually up a little bit, and I'm waiting. Remember, I told you that they got investment from Circle. They're down 16%. I think that could also be a buy in my case. Bonk is down. That's the only meme coin on the Solana platform. It's a freaking meme coin. Now, you could play around. You could make some money on meme coins. It's down 7%, and it's been up before. That's something where you can play with the volatility. I'd be careful when playing with that volatility, but that's something that you could play with the volatility. WorldCoin, just because it's WorldCoin, just looking at it, no, I'm not involved. Don't plan on being involved, not putting any of my money into it, but notice that they're down 7%. Now, on the upside, is there anybody here? You come all the way down to about right there. Ocean is up, and that's probably because I told you Jack Dorsey led a $6.2 million seed round for them, so that could be another reason why they're up. Osmosis is up 6%. Injective is up. I mentioned Injective yesterday. I don't know if I had an effect on that, but they happen to be up 7%. Let's see who else is on that I'm paying attention to. Nobody. Pocket Network is up 24%, but that's not something that I'm paying attention to. They're not on my extended list of coins that I'm actually buying into and doing things with. But it's a name that I know, so I notice when they're doing something. All right, Render is up 5%, but again, I have the 5% rule, and that 5% rule says I'm not going to pay attention to a 5% move unless it's a 5% move that's had a previous percentage move in a direction, because that would say that in that extended area, it's moved more than that. Right? Now, let's take a look. Fear and Greed Index is at 74. That's pretty high. That's up from 72 yesterday. That's pretty big. Let's see. The total value locked right now is at about $61.131 billion, and you're going to see that grow. But I want you to pay attention to something. I never do this. I never scroll down, and I probably should start doing it on a regular basis. Who's number one? Number one up there is Lido. Then you have Aave, Maker, Just Lend, Uniswap. You have all these guys that are on here where you can see, okay, this is where the total value locked is coming from, right? And you can see how much. You can see liquid staking, the category that they fall into. So if you're paying attention, check out DeFi Llama. They've got a lot of good information that you could be paying attention to. If you're looking at Bitcoin, you're paying attention to Bitcoin being at about 37.8. Again, we're moving laterally, but again, we're establishing higher lows. These are the things I'm paying attention to as I start to make decisions on how I'm going to invest or not invest, right? In terms of cryptocurrency. I don't do everything in cryptocurrency. And the reason why is because I like to spread my risks. So real estate, stocks, options, bonds, crypto, right? And then you want to own some businesses. You want to own a business, you want to partner in a business, and then you want to manage that business. That actually kind of flares out your portfolio, spreads the risk, but also spreads the opportunity for gain, right? Then you have the big board. Everything's kind of red, but kind of not really, right? Uniswap is down tremendously. What's that? 5.93, almost 6%. I'd be paying attention to that because I like Uniswap. So to me, that screams out, oh, you can get in on Uniswap at a discount right now, at a further discount. Stacks is down again. I'd be looking at that as a discounted opportunity for me, for my portfolio. And if you just want to take a look at the numbers from a numeric perspective, here's where we're going with the stocks. I mean, with the stocks, with the cryptos that I'm interested in, right? Polygon sitting at number 14. I giggle about this. I giggle about this because I honestly think they should be within the top 10, and I think they're going to be moving in that direction. When I look at Toncoin, I just sit there and I just go, Toncoin is at $8 billion. Wow. Wow. That project has bunny hopped a lot to get to number 11. Right? So I do pay attention to certain things. Chainlink is at 12. You can see who's dropped and who's come up. You can see SHIB is dropped. But again, I'm looking at SHIB and I'm saying that's going to shave a zero at least. It's going to shave a zero because it's been 10 times this. That's been its all-time high. And I'm sitting back and I'm going, that's going to shave a zero. And that could pop up and that can give you big-time multiples. Big-time multiples. That's why I bought into SHIB. And I know it's been dormant for a while, but when one ship rises, all ships rise. I want you to think about that. When one ship rises, all ships rise. So when everything else starts to rise, I think Shiba Inu is going to explode because that's when people are going to start separating quality from crap, right? And Shiba Inu is big time quality. Look at the top 25 coins, and you'll only see a couple of coins that I'd move away from there, right? And they're mostly going to be what? They're mostly going to be stable coins because they don't move like that. You use them as a part of transactions. That's about it. The other coins that are left, you're gonna pick them apart and you say, what's your use case? What's your use case? What's your use case? What's your volume? Just what's your TVL? All of that. That's how you're gonna dig in, or at least that's how I'm gonna dig in. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. If you have any kind of questions, drop me a note over there. I'm giving first choice, first communication to all members of growmybag.tv. And remember, it's a really good spot. I mean, I know we have a lot of work to do. I know we have a lot of services on the roadmap. I know we have a lot of cleanup, but I got tired of being on other applications where, your videos are being, clamped down on. People aren't really having conversations. It's more of a one-way street. We're trying to make growmybag.tv a two-way street where everybody can talk and be heard and share ideas. Anyway, I hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.